What's going on YouTube? AJTBLS here, coming to you with a new series going over a high stakes money match that I participated in with TheNano. A little background on TheNano. He's a very good duelist from Italy. He has been around in the community for quite a while, and he's famously known for playing decks that aren't 100% mainstream. He pilots them very well, and he has a lot of wins and victories and various things playing these decks. So he was allowing a challenge to people to play him for $1,000. It was originally a free challenge to join that he offered to everybody. What happened is TheNano qualified for Worlds in the last possible event. It was literally the night before Worlds. TheNano wins the last chance qualifier. It paid one invite and he got it. So cool. He oversleeps for Worlds and misses it because of the time zones and how late that tournament went. Wakes up the next day, obviously he's, removed from the tournament. And he then says, anybody who tops Worlds, so top 32, or any really good player that wants to play me for $1,000, I will use my list that I submitted. Like literally, he submitted a list for Worlds. I will use that list and we play, and you don't have to risk anything. I wanted to skip the line, so I said, I'll risk $500 for your 1,000. So it's not just 1,000 for zero. I'll give you a little bit of incentive. Immediately, money talks. I guess I skipped the line, and JDZ was the middleman for it, so he received the funds, and I had to use my Worlds list, and he had to use his tentative Worlds list. So the list that I played for Worlds, I'm not going to go into it super detailed. It's a Chaos Turbo list. It main decks Berserk Gorilla. It has Hollow Life Barrier in the sides, Call of the Haunted, Jinzo, stuff that I like to play. These are cards that I'm a proponent of. Main deck Spirit Reaper, main deck Mind Control, still 3 dust shoots into 55. So these are just cards that I like to run. So his list runs 16 monsters. 3 of them are Thunder Dragons with Exiled Forest, DD Warrior Lady, a Ninja Grandmaster, 2 Rotas. It's a Solemn Warrior Turbo mix with breaks. And then it has this side package that threw me off guard a lot for the first, sessions that we did. The deck kind of achieves a lot of things, but also is kind of a monster mash type of deck. Overall, I think his deck is decent. It's definitely a concept that has been tried before, but it just has not seen that much success. So now I'll explain the series before I go into the replay. So the series was decided to be a best of 21. So basically, if you reach 11 match wins, it's over. If you win 11-1, it's done. You win 11-4, it's done. With rotating rock, paper, scissors. So going first, that element is removed completely. If you go first in match 1, you're going second in match 2, and so on and so forth all the way down. The only time that RNG is involved for rock, paper, scissors is the first actual match. JDZ was the judge, the middleman for the funds, and also the live streamer. So this was a covered event, so this might not be groundbreaking news to you. So we'll go over day 1, and just as a thought, I'll let you into my thought process here. I was really convinced because I was looking for replays of him playing this deck anywhere, and I couldn't find them. And he had my deck list, I had his, so this was open. So this is match 1, and we go into rock, paper, scissors here, and just quickly detailed it out here, and it looks like I won rock, paper, scissors. So our opening hand, there's not much we can do here except a T-set. We're definitely going to be setting shoot. I think that you do set the Koichi or Spy. I mean, it's kind of dealer's choice here, but having 2 Koichis in my hand, I prefer setting the Koichi. He doesn't run Blade Knight, so that's what I hope I did, and that's what I did do. And he has a very powerful hand. The tribe is something that we're not too concerned about because we have Mind Control, and there's not many cards in his list that we can actually get value from this, except his Chaos Monsters. So yeah, Serp is definitely... I prefer to get rid of the Serpent. And then he just does his thing. Grandmaster comes out, kills it, we draw. And he sets 1 and passes. On our turn, we have a pitch of Thunder Dragon, and now we're kind of left on a spot. What do we do here? Because if we set Reaper, it'll die the next turn or this turn by him with the tribe. It would bait out a card. Night Assailant would be a 1-for-1, but we lose our discard for getting back our train, but although that doesn't really matter. I think that in hindsight, the best play here is to set the Night Assailant. Let's see what I decided to do in real time. I set the spy. I don't really like that at all. I guess it did work out because he did not do the play that I thought he would do. And we lose 1 spy, but this is still decent value. Unfortunately, we have no good play. We are bricking here, but if we did set the Knight Assailant, we could have popped out probably the Breaker. And then like this, just Sasuke is just kind of cleaning things up. We do draw, and we hit a nice card. And he sets Jarred, passes. We, I think, have to use Mind Control here and pop this before we use Graceful. Okay. Yeah, so he wants to keep his counter, and that was a good play by him. It's just we're going to take a -1 on this. Yeah, we go TD Knight Assailant, grab back Spy. That seems okay. And then we upstart. Ring is a fantastic draw, and I think here I think we set the Spy. We're going Sangan, I guess. He did just draw a card, and he's going to be getting another one for turn. Maybe we're thinking if we could bait out an Exiled Force, and we should be setting the Ring and passing. Yes, and we should be Dust Shooting. I guess it doesn't really matter because we can chain to the Breaker effect. He hits the Shoot, and we chain it. It doesn't have Light and Dark yet, but it is inevitable that this will turn on with the Snatch. This is interesting, but it's either between Sork or Tribe. I think that you send the Sork. I send Tiv. It's not that big of a deal. He delinquents us, as expected. We'd like to keep the Reaper here. Yes, and we throw away Nobleman. I think this searches Magician of Faith. Ooh, don't like that. Yeah, I'm not liking how I'm playing at the start of this. And then he ends up tripping it off. Remember, we do run Kaiku, so we were happy about that. This is a good draw, but we just know that it's going to be Regeki Break set. I think you just set the Spy. I guess this is trying to bait out Regeki Break. He does rip a Nobleman, so that does suck, because I do think that he would have Regeki broke it. This is a good draw. Use the duo. Hit a bad card, and he takes Snatch out. Here, I mean, this is just going to be... he's going to let... I would let this go through if I were him, because he has the... he has Sork and Solemn next turn, but this is also okay for us. Bluff thinking, it's fine. Game ones are, you know, when you look at the lists, game ones are very advantageous for him. This is correct. We know his set is Solemn, so have to take the damage, because if we Wing Blast this, he will Solemn it. He's not going to give us a dead draw. This is a fantastic draw here. Oh, he just let us do it. So he's dead drawing. I don't know if I like that, because we know that this is Solemn. We don't know about this card. Yeah, can't bring out our Sork yet. Draw space. Wing Blast was good there, not killing it, so I do like doing that when they draw dead, in quotations, Chaos Monsters, but again, he's just 1 dark away from getting it. We rip Pot, and then he Solemns it, and remember, we know that this one was Solemn, right? So when he did this, I remember thinking, okay, so now we know he has at least 2 Solemns. Turns out he has actually 3 down. And he draws Storm, which is dead. And then Faith is just a beautiful card. Faith gets Solemn by the one that we know. And we do have a Wing Blast. We don't go for it. And we don't set Saku, which is good because of Storm issues. And then he sets Ring, so he has guaranteed himself at least a draw. Yeah, we draw. Siding pattern at the start. This one, because we don't know if we're going first or second. I think I cut Shoots all the time. He doesn't run enough monsters, and he does play around it very well. So Shoots are out. Noblelands are out. Mind Control is out. I'd be adding a Saku, Call, 2 Kaikus, Zambira, Book, or Tomato. All right, so he's going first. Our win of rock, paper, scissors did not articulate anything. And he sets and passes. So he is a tricky player. He does shit like this all the time. And this becomes a common theme that I end up picking up on in later series, but he does do plays like this just very frequently. We could set the Reaper and pass, but I feel like, we know the cards here. Attacking face downs generally is not the best idea against his deck. We'll pull it up one more time. What are his face downs in our eyes, right? His real face downs are going to be Sinister Serpent, Sangan. Did he set Serp turn 0? Probably not. DD Warrior Lady, Tomato, Reaper, off chance Dawn. But I mean, what type of hand? How bad is his hand that he has to set Dawn? So I think that we actually should be setting, and I think that setting the Reaper or the Knight Assailant is the best play. If we choose to go to Reaper, that's fine. We do run discard traps. It gets Nobleman, and we should be taking this damage all day. Take the 16. Yes. The reason why we take it is because, yes, we could have answered it with Saku. We'll have our Saku in the future, and we have literally 3 cards that can answer this. And I feel like the card to answer it is either the Sook or the Zambira. Sook offers no board presence if it does go through, but it's also like the weaker card. This one here, I guess this is the greedy option. Greedy because this will force an answer, like this Kaiku cannot stay, so this will force a battle trap or a response, as would Sook. But the advantage with this is like if these are all ways that are just like, let's say you had heavy MST, a Solemn, maybe even another Solemn. Do you really want to Solemn a normal summon of Kaiku? Probably not. So this is the greedy option. It's just kind of hoping that the back row has to, respond in a way that it doesn't want to. But in this case, it's just an easy ring. And you just take it, and then you do set the Wind Blast. Perfect. It gets spaced, and we're good with that. And he draws BLS. Here, I think you take the 16 again. And he passes. This one here, I'm going Zambira. I want the board presence. Storm guarantees that the play goes through, but he ends up Solemning it to protect his Storm, but we still have to challenge the card. And we got him kind of in a very good spot here, but he rips Pop. That's okay, it's part of the game, and he knows that I do not run Solemn in this list, so there's no reason for him to Storm, and then he sets a card and passes. So in my head, I now think that this card here is not a battle trap, it is not something like that. It could be Torrent. This card could be Torrent. Because in what world are you torrenting a Zambira to kill a tribe when the Zambira is just going to have to sit there? The problem with this card is it gets frequently 2 for 1 because let's say he just passes. I can't attack him direct. I have to bring out a Sook. And if you have Torrent, then you just Torrent that, right? And if you have Mirror, you would use Mirror because you'd protect your guy. So I'm thinking it's Torrent in real time. Yeah, no choice but to attack. Searches DD Warrior Lady, which is a light, and we should be setting Spy here, and we do. Kind of plays into Torrent if he does have it, but whatever, like, we're not going to not do that. And then he pops Graceful, which is unreal because now it gives him light and dark, and he had Serpent before. Jars, there's the Torrent. But he should be pitching that for light dark. Yes, Storm, BLS should come out, and he does banish that, and kill this, of course. And with this configuration of cards, there's absolutely nothing I can do. Now, yeah, I guess we could just T-set and just pray to God we live a turn. But, of course, he has Regeki Break, and then he has Solemn to kill us. So this is just for information, and we lose. So that game 2 really being a game 1 because of the draw, I think we played okay. So now we're going first, entering a game 2. And we draw monsters. However, lots of potential if we can get this or this to the graveyard. So I think you just set the Spy here and just pray to God it resolves. And luckily for us, I think our opponent's hand might be worse than ours. So here you flip the Spy and you put it in attack mode, and you attack with both. Oh no. So I remember doing this now, and remember, I don't pre-watch my replays. I'm doing this live off the cuff. So this is where the Nano just basically confirmed to me how good he is. Because I was thinking if I put these both in attack mode, he would torrent. There's no reason not to. He will torrent. So he does this, but I'm like, well, maybe he doesn't have torrent. I'm like, he probably has jar, and a non-chainable to play around storm. So it's definitely like a trap and jar is what I thought it was. But I was like, if this is torrent, he'll just torrent this, and then I'll just go Kaiku and beat or set. Him not using the torrent here made me think like, okay, this is jar and mirror or battle trap. He doesn't torrent, but he will now, right? Obviously, because I was thinking to myself, okay, if it's mirror force, at least I can protect my spy. But he ends up torrenting me, and it's like, holy shit, that sucks. We do have to bring out Sork, so this is good recognition, because if Kaiku comes down, we just have no answer at all, and we do punch. Of course, that will connect, and we have to pass. So, on his turn, he jars, he hits Rhoda, and there's no real good answer to this. DD Warrior Lady seems probably one of his better answers, denies it dark, and then he should just be setting MST and passing. I think the play here is Kaiku attack. And you set the book, but that'll get eaten up by space. And again, we're in a pretty good spot here. We're up a lot in life, and his graveyard is just not going for him. And we're kind of, reading that, like, okay, if he had, a battle trap or something else here to set, like if he had a Solemn, he would have set it with the space. We're reading we're in a pretty good spot. And then a bump, and a pass, set and pass. We're in a weird spot here. We bring out a naked BLS, and I don't know if I like doing that. I think setting this is fine. And then he just ripped pot. So if we brought out BLS there, because I'm never, like, okay, obviously we can see the cards, right? If I had normal summon, Magician of Faith, and BLS and attack per game, that would have won. But no one's ever doing that. If I brought out BLS here, I would have just been over. It would have been done. He gets a snatch and a solemn, so I'm happy I didn't do it. He did hit pot. This has to take back book. And then he should be setting solemn, but he chooses not to because he has storm. Attack. I unfortunately think that we might have to set both here, and we do. So he gets us again. So this is two tricks by the Nano this match that are just going to pay off for him. And I have to think about booking it. I don't think you do, just in case he doesn't have BLS, but he does, obviously. And then this is just a wrap because he has a solemn. So we just hope we keep our BLS in real time. All right, at least we keep the BLS, but Breaker's a nice draw. So solemn, and then now we would be attacking if we get a chance. And he has another solemn, so there was no way he was going to lose that, and he wins match 1. And now he goes first in the next match. All right, so we're back. He goes first this time. All right, let's take a look at our hand. Our amazing hand. He opened 2 dragons as well, and he chooses not to use it, hoping I'll dust shoot him and put it back. So let's see if it works out for our friend the Nano, and I think it probably will. This is an okay play because, our spy is kind of a meal ticket here, and we at least waited for Storm. And he's happy about it because he gets to put back a TD. And I remember complimenting him like, okay, wow, this guy's for real. This is not a joke. So here I think he just wrote us for Dawn. Yeah, and Nobleman's us. It is important to note that I could have pitched Knight Assailant and Spy. But I feel like with the type of hand that I had and with the dust shoot, I wanted to actually keep these cards and use them for their value because I know he doesn't run late night. So I recall opening this type of hand and being like, okay, I can give him the information and I can keep a card, or I can throw away these dragons. His deck made me think differently, but traditionally, I do think the actual legit, like the best play was the play I just described. We know his cards, we know everything, so obviously this Dawn can't stay. Cryo, banish, and this is a good play too. We're hoping that he exiles our face down, and we got exactly what we wanted. We know that this is Regeki Break. We don't know about this card, but we just attack. And he's taking the damage, which is probably the right play, and what do you know? Pot off the top. Pot's good. Regeki breaks Prio on Resolution to play around Dust Shoot. We should probably be wing blasting this monster. We tried to go for the back row. I guess because we're thinking maybe we can just run it over. Unfortunately for us, it is going to be Sengan. Attack. Search a Serpent. Again, this doesn't look that bad for us. And then he draws Solemn. No big deal. So now we know that this is Serpent, right? And we don't want to play into Torrent because we're just good with collecting the damage here. And same play for us. I'm not going to get 2 for 1 like I did previously. His Mirror and Torrential is still available, and this is a 2-turn clock as is. So we're okay with what's going on. He hits Charity, though, which is very unfortunate for us, which actually goes into Runner BLS with Protected from Solemn. So, again, maybe I was too passive here, but there was no read that this wasn't Torrent. Draw Mind Control. It isn't out. He allows it to go through. We banish it. And I feel like you don't set the Serpent here. You just pass, yeah. Made a misplay there, and JDZ, as per instructions, and myself, it's a higher stake money match. It wasn't a misclick. Anything that's a misclick was, we had to be very clear with our intentions as per the rules by him. Or as per the rules by both of us, we agreed. So there was no take back on it. He had to bring out the tribe there. We're in a decent spot. I think you said everything. Yeah. Lose our Mirror Force. Very unfortunate. Add this back. And I think here you take the Kaiku. He solemns it immediately. And you don't set this, obviously, because you're going to lose it. Now we're just kind of being clocked down. Yeah, this is good. This is a good time to set this. And then we take the 16. So again, through that, mind you, remember, we drew pretty busted. We should have upstarted first, but we wanted to just try to kill him. I guess actually the last play, upstarting first is not right, just because if it's not Solemn, we just win. And then 16, so again, we're being clocked. Yeah, and this is just over. Have to just do this and hope he doesn't attack with both, but there's no reason that he would not, because Mirror's in the great. So we'll go to game 2. This one's over. So going to game 2, we're going first. Hand is okay. I think here is you set, you either set the Sengan or set the Dekoichi. He has shown that he has exiled forces on sets, but I feel like you still set the Dekoichi here just to try to get ahead. Yeah, okay. See what he chooses to do, and he chooses to exile force, which just sucks for us because we had a Sengan. Here you summon the Reaper and attack. Yeah, this will force a response. Has to be answered, so +1, we get his dragon. Chooses to pass. I think that you can either set the Spy or summon the Sengan. The worst option is the Kaiku. Decided to set the Spy. That sounds good to me. Yes. And he sets and passes. Don't want this to get mirror forced. We're fine with this because we'll try to bump. And I guess we're not going to try to bump. We'll try to kill. This is a good draw. I think you summon the gorilla and try to punch it. Allows it to go through. I think you set. Yeah, there's no world you're torrenting anything. And he tops graceful. So I remember being quite annoyed by, like, you know, it's kind of like I feel like I have him in a really good spot and then he hits a Trinity piece. But this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is a long series. You know, it's a best of 20. It's a best of 21, first to 11. So the one thing you can't do in these sessions is tilt, but I remember, like, on day one being pretty frustrated from this. and then he chooses not to fire it, which is probably right because he has to answer the board. But here you summon the Kaiku, you have to try. And I actually feel like you have to snatch this. Yeah. Yeah, and this is right. You attack with both in this spot because you don't care if it gets mirrored, and you want to kind of clock him. And if you do the math, this can go up to 15. If he somehow bricks on his turn, this is lethal, and you'd have to use like a mirror force if he has it on his own guy next turn. No reason to set the torrent again, so he gains 1,000, upstarts, and he dead draws. Yeah, so I actually like this play. I choose to Wing Blast a set card that I know is like not doing anything, so he has to fire this, and it's just like I did this to try to mitigate one of the draws that he hit, and he just nailed it. So now we have to answer a BLS. We have a lot of life. I guess you could set the Sangan, like you're just trying to buy time, but it's just that like that's just gonna happen every time. And now we're bricking, and we obviously bluff set to try to not take damage. And then him summoning Dawn just lets me know he at least has one Solemn. Unfortunate, have to take damage, takes a dragon. Tribe gets Solemn, of course. So we are in desperate need of Chaos Monster on our turn. Don't get it. Mitigate damage, take. And then we just draw the Jinzo. Here I don't understand this turn by him. Like, I think maybe he's just playing a little fast. If Yugioh broke this card and attacked with that, it was just game. But I remember being pretty frustrated and saying, let's do a little break here to reconcile. This match, even though I lost, I feel like I played much better than match 1. And I think maybe it was kind of like seeing more of his deck and how he's siding. Some of the cards that I was previously siding, or the way I thought that he was siding, skill drain and whatnot. That theory kind of went out the window from these two matches. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and look forward to making the next video and showing you that. Thank you.